listening to the Otasso Outdoors Podcast.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
I can't get as low as you.
Do 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 do.
I can't get low. I'm just the you got that nasally Midwest voice.
Do 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 do.
I think you guys know what this means.
Do 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 do.
Wow. She's really laying into it tonight.
Yeah, you know, I'm feeling a little velvety.
What does that mean?
Like, I got the little velvet voice going on. Every once in a while, the voice just drops.
What is a velvet voice?
You know,
I don't.
just gotta use your imagination.
Velvet voice. Well,
Like Sam Elliott has a velvet voice. Like, you could just listen to him for hours. It's just like, wow. Like, introducing the all-new Dodge Ram Rebel.
oh yeah.
Just like, dude, it's like his voice is like a little jighead getting dragged across.
What'd you call me?
Little jighead.
The only thing, like when you said velvet voice, there's an old strip club right around the road from us
Velvet
called
Touch.
Yeah. I don't think it's there.
Not that I
don't
have
think-
been there.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
been shut
think
down for years, but
That was what I was correlating it with. which
yeah,
is-
my hands are way too rough for a Velvet Touch, but voice on the other hand. Hey, we should restart this. This is getting off to a rocky start.
What is up, guys? Hopefully you didn't turn it off at this point. I'm Caleb. I'm your host, and this is the Otasso Outdoors Podcast. If you're tuning in for the first time, you are likely to find one of three segments. Segment number one is Whatcha Got Buddy. That is where we will bring in headlines, pre-prepared articles, and we discuss them at length. Segment number two.
Segment number two is our Spotlight series, where we search our network in the outdoors industry. We find interesting people, bring them down into the bunker, and bring you guys along for the conversation. Segment number three.
Segment number three is our head-to-head, and that's kind of our trivia/game show where we bring in pre-prepared questions, and then the members of the Pod Bunker battle it out to crown a victor. Well, you guys clicked on it, so you know what it is tonight. We have...
What you
What
got, buddy? I noticed you're wearing the Forest and Sky t-shirt tonight.
Shout out Mr. Daniel DeForge.
That's
with,
a really good-looking t-shirt.
Did you see the back of it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sexy.
Yeah. So our good friend Daniel DeForge with Forest and Sky Outdoors. I forget what episode he is, but if you scroll way back in the episode lineup, we're in the 70s now. I think he must have been back in like the 20s or 30s.
Holy smokes.
Really, really great story. He's doing this awesome thing. He's the director over at Bear Lake Bible Camp. But on top of that, he's really trying to focus on giving the opportunity to get kids that do not have a father figure in their life out into the outdoors. Super, super cool mission. You can go find him on Instagram. I believe it's at Forest and Sky. Super cool.
Great guy.
So shout out Daniel DeForge. Reed, what you got, buddy?
Oh, we're going to start out one of my favorite topics as a poacher sympathizer, apparently.
Oh, not woofs.
Not the wolves. Yeah, no poaching wolves. New York poachers busted after hiding. After
God
hiding.
darn busted.
After hiding striped bass under sand and traffic cones. I love, before this even starts, okay, there's two types of poachers. There's like, they're just morons. Like, I shot out the window at the robo buck and like got caught. I'm like, you're just an idiot. And then there's the really creative ones that make me laugh really hard. I'm like, okay, like the whole like the weights and fish guys, that was wrong, but it's like, that was creative. Like, you're dropping weight and fish. It's wrong. I don't like it. Bad. But
that one though, like there was no way they weren't gonna get caught.
Right.
That was dumb.
mm-hmm.
Like maybe packing the fish full of fillets. That's one.
Well, they did that too.
right.
Yeah, they put fillets and weights in them. But
the weights is where that's where they screwed up.
okay, but these buddies right here, multiple striped bass poachers in the Empire State, which would be New York,
There we go. Geography.
Geography. I don't screw around with New York. Went to Great Lakes to hide their crimes. They were caught anyways, according to a recent New York Department of Environmental Conservation, or the DEC, press release. The notable striped bass poaching bust took place on Saturday, April 6th. That evening, an DEC, or the Environmental Conservation Officer, an ECO, McCarthy witnessed several people illegally catching and keeping stripers near Comset State Park in Suffolk
I wonder if they're catch and release. Striped bass.
Striped bass?
Stripers.
Well, I mean,
clearly
if,
would have
if you
to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you catch them in season, then you would have to release them. But the season opener for the species was April 15th. McCarthy immediately sprang into action and attempted to locate the illegally kept fish, but was unable to do so. He called in a fellow wardens for support, who brought a trained dog to the scene that quickly sniffed out the fish. Canine Kramer alerted the officers to multiple fish buried in the sand and hidden behind logs and in brush piles, wrote the DEC spokesperson.
Canine Kramer?
Canine Kramer?
That's just...
Officers recovered a total of 16 striped bass measuring from 25 to 35 inches and ticketed 7 subjects for taking striped bass during the closes season. The second incident occurred the next day. It was also on the north shore of the Long Island. This time, the warden responded to a tip stating that 3 people were illegally catching and keeping stripers while fishing from the Bayville Bridge near Bayville, New York. The warden was local police officer, searched the area and located 7 striped bass hidden inside traffic cones spanning the bridge. The culprits were ticketed for the possession of out-of-season stripers or striped bass and failing to possess a marine registry. The poaching incidents come from New York is tightening its striped bass fishing regulations in some parts of the state. According to the press release, the DEC is instituting a strict 23 to 28 inch bass slot limit for the recreational striper anglers caught in the Hudson River and its tributaries north of George Washington Bridge. Traffic cones.
They knew what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see the sketch, like the old redneck sketch from Jeff Foxworthy, where he dressed as like a FUD and there he had his one partner? It was I forget what it was, but this is exactly what I picture these guys looking like.
So there's a big difference while you're finding that picture. There's a big difference between, like, okay, a guy that catches a grayling and is like, wow, that's a cool fish, I've never seen that before, and keeps it, not knowing what it is. And somebody catching a striped bass and hiding it in a traffic cone, knowingly going to take it home out of season, out of size, out of regulation.
Right, let alone a bunch of them.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question. Did they just so happen to find the traffic cones out on the bridge and think, this is convenient? Because it's actually really funny. There's a picture of these fish jammed up in the cones, and their little faces fit perfectly in the tip of the cone. And I'm curious if they brought the cones along and if they staged the whole thing, or if they just found the cones and were like, hey, dude, go throw it underneath the cone right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But either way, blatant disrespect, blatant negligence for the law, blatantly breaking the law. Like, not cool. Poaching bad.
Bad. Yeah. Those are big bass, too.
Yeah, 28 inches.
To 32.
That's like,
It's a big bass.
that's a big fish.
It's a big traffic cone.
Yeah, well, I mean, standard size traffic cone, you know?
Oh, you're talking more of a traffic barrel.
No, it wasn't a barrel. It's like those taller cones, not the big skinny ones, but
How do you hide it? Oh, underneath?
yeah, I mean, they just jammed the thing face first in there and then, flipped it up. It's really kind of funny looking, like.
Dummies.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, good grief. Stupid.
it's like,
Dude, do the game wardens ride up on bicycles in New York?
No, it looks like they had a pickup truck there because they got a bunch of, some really nice looking striped bass on the bed of a pickup. And
Unbelievable.
I just like that the dog's sniffing them out. Like, okay, so like the first guys are hiding him in the sand, and it's like dogs just coming by, just so happy to find a fish in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, dude, best day ever. Kind of rolling that. But it's the whole concept of like, okay, we talk a lot about like different kinds of poaching on the show here, and we talk about like, would you do it? Would you not do it? And we can flirt with those lines, but it's like, this is one of those things where it's like, hey, that's out of season. Like, that's like shooting ducks out of season. It's like, no. Like, no way in heck. And there's nothing tempting or alluring about the idea of, like, I'm going to shoot a duck out of season. I'm going to shoot a turkey out of season.
Well, yeah, it'd be like shooting a turkey in July.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I
Like,
just get
for
that
what?
thought never crossed my mind. Maybe people are just like, fish or fish.
Yeah, maybe it's that whole thing of, like,
The
there's
no,
just so many. The no eyelets.
yeah, the no eyelids, no remorse.
No eyelets.
The Jeff Foxworthy thing I was thinking of. It's called the Incomplete Deer Hunter 3,
Okay.
and it's done by Realtree, but I have it on DVD,
Oh, we should watch that.
so we really need to watch it. It is
Do we have a DVD player down here?
no, but we can get one.
Yeah, that would be hard.
Honestly, I probably could find it where we could stream it. So
Is it just like a knockoff Escanaba into Moonlight of, like, Fud Nation?
maybe I can't stream it. Yes, it's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
Absolutely hilarious.
Caleb, what you got, buddy?
Headline reads, Shed Antler crimes on the rise in Wyoming.
Oh, back to crime.
Yep.
Poaching.
It's shed hunting season, and every year thousands of shed hunters descend upon Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and its surrounding areas to collect shed antlers from elk and deer, both for fun and profit. While many use shed antlers as home decor, arts, craft, and even dog chews, some sheds, especially big and unique ones, can put some serious cash in your pocket in exchange for hiking around the right places for a few hours. Interest in antlers in general has increased over the past 2 decades, both as an outdoor activity and a money-making venture. Demand continues to increase, and the price has been increasing over over time, at least from what we've observed. That just further encourages people to go out and recreate and find antlers. Shed collection restrictions are in place in the Cowboy State until May in order to protect animals like elk, bighorn sheep, and mule deer from the stress of recuperating from harsh winter conditions in the presence of humans. Closures also extend to other types of outdoor recreation like hiking, backpacking, ATV, in the areas where animals are still weak to limit disturbances during one of the most critical times of the year for wildlife. While the majority of shed hunters follow shed hunting protocol every year, there are a few that don't. Instead, they trespass on land close to shed hunting and even collect shed antlers and horns out of season. Antler poaching is on the rise, particularly on public land in and out around the National Elk Refuge, where a large percentage of the elk in the Jackson Hole area herd spend their winter. Likely because the refuge creates perfect storm, thousands of uncollectible shed antlers plus thousands of unmonitored acres, plus the price per pound now is upwards of $15 or more. The result, illegal shed collections of one of the most nation's coveted swaths of land. Collecting antlers in the National Elk Refuge is illegal at all times. Yet, in order to gain access to the Bridger-Teton National Forest where the shed hunting occurs, shed hunters must pass through the refuge, thus opening up the opportunity for some unethical individuals to collect sheds in the areas where it's prohibited. Folks are not interested in following the laws and rules, and they sneak in other places, hiking through the forest and lands around there. Shed hunting crimes continue to plague the state, wildlife officials say, and the varieties of reasons. Generally, most illicit shed hunting activities occur at night. Thieves can hide their finds, uncovering them during legal shed hunting hours during the legal season, coupled with a vast amount of public land that surrounds the area's National Elk Refuge and the 20-plus supplemental elk feeding grounds run by Wyoming Fish and Game Department. $15 per pound is quite a bit. That's on the low end, they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about it because I just bought, Skylar just bought my wedding ring, and it's got antler band in it. It's got antler mixed in, and then like Osage on the outside. It's made by a company called Antler Rings, and like really cool design, looks awesome. And it was one of the cheaper rings they had on their site, and it was still $250.
Wow.
You know? And
that's
they
a
had some
minimal amount of antler too.
Oh yeah, that's not even an ounce. And there's some of the rings on their site that were up over like, and this is all like dictated on the wood and the kind of like material they're going to use, but they had some rings on their site that were like $800.
It's crazy.
You know, and they look amazing. Like they make a really cool product. And actually, you guys should check out Antler rings. We're not sponsored by them, but we just bought them, and like I love mine so far. They send you a little pocket knife, which is kind of neat. Like it's a chintzy little knife. I'm just going to give it to my future son, and then a little like extra ring that comes with it, like just for out playing around and blah blah blah. So you get like 2 rings and a pocket knife for however much. Well, it's like that's cool.
Seems like a bargain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna eventually tattoo my ring on, and then I'll use that ring as like date night ring, so I look claimed. But
nice.
Yeah. Either way, but for that, it's like okay, just a little bit of antler. I don't know what it's out of. Like it could be, it could be a farmed buck or something like that. But you're still, $250 for something like that. So you're buying stuff like that for $15 a pound, and then turning back around and selling it as dog chews. Even like you think about like elk dog chew, that might be $5, and you're only getting, a few ounces out of it.
They did catch a guy. They said they caught a man who recently poached 1,000 pounds of antlers valued at roughly $18,000.
Whoa.
So like that. So it's not like, hey, we're gonna grab 2 or 3 here or there. They're grabbing 100. I mean, okay, so it was 1,000 pounds of sheds. So you're probably
like 15,000, wouldn't it? Unless it's sold for different purposes. Like if there's a certain rack that's...
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they said $15 per pound is on the low end.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So 1,000 pounds of sheds. What do you think the average elk shed weighs? 6 pounds? 7 pounds? Maybe?
I was going to say maybe 10. Nah, that seems a little heavy. Yeah, no, let's set with 10.
That's like 100 sheds. So $18,000 for 100-something sheds.
Okay. Poaching bad. This is a tough one because it's like the whole thing of like it's an inanimate object just sitting there.
It's
right?
It's fallen off the animal's head, and squirrels are going to chew on it. And nature's going to reclaim it. However, I do completely understand their mindset. They don't want a bunch of people traipsing around putting unnecessary stress on these animals that already had a hard winter. I get that. I respect that. But it's like...
Let me resheath my sword so we can talk about this. If I get riled up, I'll just not have a weapon.
Then we won't have a lamp.
You just wait right there. Okay. So, poaching bad. We're establishing this. Obviously, like, it doesn't matter what it is. If the DNR or conservation, officer has set a rule, you have to follow that. This one is really hard for me because this is kind of like the whole, if you find an eagle feather on the ground, you can't pick it up. It's like, who gives a rip? It's an eagle feather. If you find an arrowhead on the ground, you're supposed to just leave it there. It's like, I don't think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to be honest with you. If I find a dinosaur bone, actually, Jordan and I just had it written into our excavation contract that if we find dinosaur bones within the dig site, we are legally allowed to keep them. And so when the owner signs at the bottom of the page saying like, yes, I want you to come dig my foundation, if we find dinosaur bones in the excavation, they're ours. So same thing. I don't know what the legality is behind it.
Don't tell your insurance guy that.
Why not? It's in a contract, dude. You signed the dinosaur bones.
Contracts don't mean anything when it
Yes,
gets to court. When you're battling some Karen in court because
I found a mastodon tusk. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like, look,
and
woman,
she wants it.
No, guess what? You signed it away. Look right here. Read the contract next time.
Yeah.
I contacted my lawyer and I said, hey, can I have a line item in here that says I hold the rights to all that? You sign all rights to dinosaur bones that are within the excavation site that I find.
That's awesome.
I'm like, this is a big deal to me.
Did you specifically say dinosaur bones or you say fossils?
Ooh.
I would definitely definitely alter that to
email lawyer in the morning
to fossils of all shapes, sizes.
Fossils. Okay. So, anyways, I should just do prehistoric artifacts.
Remember the conversation we had with Ben Felposh? Remember he found the crocodile head?
And he left it where it was?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. That's what made me think about that.
Right.
Because he had to leave it. And I'm like, I'm not. Actually, no, what made me thinking about it?
Well, he had to leave it because it was on public land.
Yes.
Private land, I think, is a different rule.
So private land is a different rule, but there was actually There was a pond that was dug out in the Perry area one year, and they found mastodon bones while digging out the pond.
Crazy.
And those bones ended up in a small little museum in like the Perry Library or something like that. I don't know if the property owner donated them or if Perry was like, hey, we hold and reserve rights to those bones because you don't have mineral rights. But it gets kind of dicey, but like where I started justifying it is if you are telling me, hey, excavate this whole area and everything in there I want disposed of or I want out of there, like, you know, every excavator in the world is going to take that dirt and they're going to take it to a dump location. They're going to sell that as fill dirt.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
fill fossils.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, here's the thing. You told me to get rid of all that. And within all that is this like, you know, 300,000-year-old bone. I don't know. 6,000-year-old bone. Young Earth. What's up? And it's like, yeah, that's mine. Like you told me to get rid of it. I'm getting rid of it. Just because there's a value that I found on your property doesn't mean that you own it anymore.
Right. Do you tell them about it though?
No. But when they ask about it, when they ask like, hey, what's up with the mammoth tusk in the bed of your truck? And I'm like, found it. I'm like, well, I want that. I'm like, too bad. You signed it over to me.
Nice.
They're gonna be like, what? I'm like, oh yeah.
The way your mind works blows my mind.
Dude, I called my lawyer and I straight up asked him about it. I'm like, we put this in there? That's
good grief.
Everybody's laughing at me like, what an idiot, until I got a massive collection of dinosaur bones.
So we have a massive collection of dinosaur bones in the pod bunker.
Can you imagine right here? Just big mammoth tusks.
Yep.
Because I'm going to find a bunch of them.
I can see it. Maybe on either side of the pod bunker.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'll be building like bedposts out of them.
Run gas lines to it and have them be torches.
Yeah, I'm going to put them on the front of my pickup trucks and dump trucks and whatnot.
That'd be a flex.
Oh, 100%.
Fossils on the grill of the F-250.
Yeah, right. Walk in, big T-Rex skull on the mantle. That's what I'm gunning for. Poaching bad.
Yeah. If you have one takeaway from this whole conversation, poaching is bad.
I'm bringing it back. This is where I'm going at. It is extremely difficult for me to rationalize, like, because in our world in Michigan, you find a shed, wahoo. Doesn't matter when, doesn't matter where. As long as it's on your property or public property, you can pick that up. You cannot trespass to go get it. That's wrong. Don't do that. Trespassing bad. Now, obviously out there, they have different regulations. They have different stipulations on how shed hunting ought to be done for conservation aspects. Here's where I get hung up. It sounds like there's some areas within Wyoming that it's like it flat out, you cannot pick up a shed off of this plot of land, right? That's like within a refuge is what I heard him say. My question would be like, well, can I kick that shed?
My question would be,
can I like hit it with my foot?
Can you even enter these refuge? Like, can you go in there? Can you hike and stuff? Because that's where it's like, okay, well, I can hike in there, but I can't pick up a shed. If it's a matter of like, hey, this whole area is off limits in general,
right?
That makes way more sense. So
if you can hike in there, then is it illegal to kick a shed or like, you know, nudge it with a stick or flip it around a little bit? Is that illegal? Because, like, could I just kick it and kind of play around with it until all of a sudden it's on the right side of the line? Oh, no.
I tripped and paracord wrapped around it, and somehow I drug it all the way out.
Right.
Didn't pick it up.
Didn't touch it. But
they
now
probably
it's on the side.
Used the language remove. You removed a shed from the refuge.
So if I'm on the refuge and I kick it out of the refuge, I wouldn't say I removed it, because removing would be to pulling it out, but I would say I excommunicated it.
On today's episode of Reed Justifies.
100%. So this is where, like, I really struggle with finding inanimate things on public ground that it's like, I just think I should be able to take them. That's where I'm at. And like, this is a really hard one for me, because like, okay, once again, I know the rules. You can't hunt sheds from this time to this time. You can't stash sheds. You can't hunt them you can't go out and grab them at night. And especially when there's a lot of money on the line, like for guys that are going out and grabbing them for money, versus some guy that just goes out and finds it and he's like, oh, that's cool, and picks it up and he brings it home. Like, two very different guys to me. Like, money grab guy, bad. Found it on the ground, this is cool guy, didn't know or knew and he just grabbed it anyway. He's just going to go stash it. I'm like, not the end of the world.
I agree. And that's all we got.
But you get caught, man. It's
true. Don't be stupid. I think elk and moose probably bring a higher prestige as far as sheds go. Like whitetail doesn't. No one gives a rip about whitetail sheds.
Yeah.
Except for us, we love whitetail sheds.
Oh,
but like
100%.
as far as like resale and market, I mean, there's a small market for it, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to the show this week. If you learned something, share it with a friend. Or you had some fun, share it with a friend, because we grow organically. That's how we kind of gain traction here. All of our links are on our Instagram. There's a link tree there, which will get you to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, our website where our merch is at that kind of keeps things funded around here. So go buy a hat or a hoodie or a T-shirt or something, and then that helps organically grow the show as well.
Our shirts are really comfy too.
They are.
Like, very comfy.
Yep. They sure are. We're working on some new designs too. I've got some samples coming in.
Oh, sweet.
I lost my train of thought. We're on shirts. Oh yeah, these full videos are on YouTube. So go over and subscribe to that. And then you can, if you like consuming your podcast in a video format. Outside of that, we drop episodes on Tuesday. So we will catch you guys next Tuesday. Have a great night.
What if you hit a shed in a traffic cone? That might look a little suspicious out in the middle of BLM.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a no-go.
Justify.